Well, good morning, everyone. Today we're going to do chapter 4. I'm just going to kind of briefly go over it. You can get the book if you want to go into depth on it. And I've got a song that I'm going to share with it that goes with chapter 4. And it's actually one of the songs that's on our new album, Dare to Dream. The name of the song is called Honey, I Love You. And this will be my first time performing it since the recording of it, since the studio recording. So I'm going to use a lot of the instruments and everything that's in the song, and I'm just going to add my vocals to it. So it's a little bit of practice to me, and I hope you enjoy it. I hope that it touches your heart and it encourages you. Chapter 4 in Dreamer's Ink is called The Enemies of Dreams. How many of you know that we have enemies that don't want to allow us to fulfill our dreams, especially our God-given dreams? Because the enemy knows, the devil, he knows that if we fulfill our God-given dreams, his kingdom is in trouble. And so it's always a fight. It's a fight from the beginning, even when we're conceived in our mother's womb. There's a fight on. It's like, the Lord has this beautiful plan for us, but the enemy wants to stop it at all cost. And so we have this push and take. How many of you ever worked out in a gym? You see all of those machines there, or you see all of those benches with the different weights, the free weights if you do free weights. And how many of you know that, they seem like they're your enemy, right? I mean, you go in there and you pull down on these things and, oh man, these muscles burn. And you're walking out of there and it's like you can barely lift your legs because you went to the burn on all of them, And it's so difficult in it. And if you don't do it right, you can get hurt. And then it really is a lot of pain. But that when you're working out, you're actually tearing those muscles. And then they heal. You tear them and they heal and you tear them. And they're just micro tears. But that's what builds the muscle. The blood goes in there and all of a sudden you get all, hey man, this feels pretty good, I'm getting all these muscles. Well, see, in the spirit realm and with our minds, that happens too. And so many times, those that are around us, they can't see our dreams. See, Joseph, he had a dream. He had a dream that his family was going to bow down to him. And they didn't like that much. So what did his brothers do? They got jealous of him. They threw him in a dungeon and they sold him into slavery. Well, that wasn't right. He's got all these dreams. Everybody's going to bow down to him, and all of a sudden he's in the dungeons. Then he gets falsely accused. He goes through 13 years of this. But then one day he comes out and he's second in command of Egypt. Well, what was all of that about? That was about training. That was about relationships. And, he forgave his brothers in the end. And so the Lord allows things. He allows the storms to come. And he allows our family to be there. I mean, don't we agree with our family on everything? Some of you may have families like that. And some of you may not. But see, our families, our brothers and sisters, we couldn't pick who they are. And so, it says iron sharpens iron, and a brother is made for adversity. Well, hey, we're in the gym, working out. Oh, we get stabbed. Oh, we break a bone. It's got to get healed. But we're learning how to get stronger. In our minds, our soul, we love and we get into relationships and they get broken. Are we going to forgive? And find out, Lord, what is it you have for us to learn in this? And see, so those things that are meant for evil, the Lord turns for good if we let him, if we don't hang on to the bitterness and the judgment. You see, Abraham went through years and years, and he still only saw the promise from afar. David, he was destined to be king of Israel. But Saul was coming after him and trying to kill him for years. But in all that, he grew stronger. And in that maturity, even with Joseph, he came to a place where he was able to lead a nation. And I've heard it said that, the more things that come against us, the higher the calling in our life. So if you're in that place and you've been in that place, hey, look up. Be encouraged. Let the hope come. God's got something better for me. And He's training me. If I can just learn, if I can just trust Him, that this person that just cheated me out of a lot of money, see, He owns all the gold. He only puts it in people's hands to possess it for certain time periods, but it's going to come back all to His kingdom. And when we mature, He'll hand things over to us to govern, to oversee, so that we can bless many. And yeah, I'm going by notes today. A lot of times, let's talk about suicide here a little bit, because that's one of the reasons I wrote the book. And it's based on Habakkuk 2:2, where the Lord said, hey, write the vision down so that those who see it may run with it. What was that vision? Well, if you go back to Habakkuk 2:2, it was about a time that was coming. They were going through some tough stuff, and he goes, this is what the Lord showed me. This is what's going to happen. So get ready. Even though it waits, even though it seems like it's never going to happen, it's going to come just like that. And you got to be ready. But see, what got them to that point? It's going through all the trials and stuff in between. Those trials are like going to a gym and doing a circuit workout. And you walk out of there and, oh man, I'm never going to do this again. I am so, especially the next day, you wake up and you're just all tired and hurting. Well, I've learned that if you drink a lot of water, it flushes a lot of toxins out, and that next day you don't feel that bad. So see, there's little things we learn along the way. And, hopelessness leads to suicide. There's people that I minister to sometimes. They committed suicide a long time ago, but they're still alive. Their bodies just haven't shut down yet. See, they became hopeless a long time ago. They became judgmental, blaming everybody else for their life, the way it is. All these excuses, drinking alcohol because they can't cope. No, if I can just go one more day, just this last, only today, and I'm going to stop tomorrow. No, you won't. You're not going to stop until you're fed up with it. You're not going to stop until you take responsibility for your life. But hope has to come in. Where's the hope? Isaiah 61 says, put on a garment of praise for a spirit of heaviness. A spirit of heaviness. What's that? That's an outside force that's trying to come and push me down and push my head into the ground, into the mud, into the muck. Oh, wait, it's not me. No, it's not you. We have enemies. We're at war. It says in Ephesians chapter 6, it says, we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities and powers and wickedness and evil in high places. Some of the evil in our government, it's not the people, but they've given their lives over to demonic forces that gives them power, but they don't realize that it possesses them, and at some point, they can't control it anymore. And that happens all around us. If we give place to evil, it will come inside and inhabit us, and at some point, it will possess us. How do you know if you're possessed? A lot of times if you black out. Something happens that triggers you inside, and all of a sudden you don't remember what had happened. Sometimes that happens with alcohol. sometimes with drugs. Any trauma situation we go through opens us up to the demonic to influence our life. That's why every time I go through trauma, it's like with this car wreck. I take authority over that. So all these things. But anyway, some of this is in the book. Some of it's in Janice's biography, Sentenced to Death, Destined for Life. You can find it all on the website, joseph-james.net. And so I want to go ahead and I'm going to share this song with you now, because sometimes we do feel like we're all alone in a crowd. You know, our friends are trying to encourage us, trying to get us to go out and try and you know, there were times going through my separations and divorces, and I'd go out to a party and, yeah, I'm doing fine. Yeah, I'm doing, no, I'm not. I'm really torn apart. You know, can somebody see me where I am? Well, somebody can see you where you are. And he's there just waiting for a relationship, for you to be real. He wants to hear your thoughts. He wants to hear your heart. And he'll share his thoughts and his heart. And he'll show you how to get through it. And you will get through it. Because there is a destiny written for you in heaven. He's got it all written. And it can become a fun adventure if you'll walk with him through it. You know? I see you there in that place, a crowd of people, but no one sees. You're sitting there all alone, just hoping that someone cares, someone sees. Honey, I love you, please don't go. Here's my hand. Honey, I love you, take my hand and say you'll stay. Oh, oh, oh. Can you see me? I'm right here. A crowd of people, but they don't see. My heart is tearing at its core. Tears are running down my face. I've got your heart next to mine. Honey, I love you, please don't go. Here's my hand. Honey, I love you, take my hand and say you'll stay. Oh, oh, oh. Now you see me, take my hand. I've got you now, you'll understand. My love will heal you in that place. My arms will cover you. I've got your heart next to mine. love you. Please don't go. Here's my hand. Honey, I love you. Take my hand and say you'll stay. Honey, I love you. Take my hand and say you'll stay. He's right there. He's got you. And all he wants you to do is just to talk to him. See, that's the thing about religion versus relationship. Religion is, I've got to obey all these laws. I've got to do all this stuff. I've got to be perfect. But relationship is, it's his blood that cleansed us. It's his blood that bought us. It's his blood that forgave us. We're human beings, not human doings. He's the only one that will ever be perfect. But by his blood, Father sees us in Jesus, and he sees us as perfect. It's by grace we're saved. It's nothing by any of our works. It's so many people try to get there by their works, by being good and by doing good. You know, if you have a girlfriend or wife, or if you're a lady and you have a husband or a boyfriend, and you really love them, you're going to do stuff for them because you love them. It's out of the love. You're not going to do it because they require it. Love that requires you to do something is not love at all. Because it's out of the abundance of our heart for that person that we want to be there with them. We want to help them. We want to walk with them. And that's for our friends too. So why would we treat our relationship with the Lord any different? You know, and there's another part that I wanted to talk to you about. You know, Jesus said, here comes the enemy. It's right before he gets put on the cross. He says, the enemy has nothing in me. See, Jesus was without sin. So the enemy had no right to come and put him on the cross. And if the enemy would have really understood what that would have done, he would have never done it. And so what Jesus was saying is, hey, there's no sin in my life. There's no oaths that I've made. There's no contracts that I've made or that my generation has made that I haven't taken care of and I haven't dealt with. I haven't asked the Lord Father to forgive me so that it can be cleansed. And so sometimes when we're walking down our path, the enemy comes in and he's got legal right to do that. So we need to ask the Holy Spirit, hey, what is there in my life that's hindering me? Why can't I overcome this? And a lot of times we'll find, hey, he'll reveal to us, or somebody else, or a prophet or a seer will come by and say, hey, the Lord showed me this dream or told me these words. And we're going, thank you. I want to be free. And so Hosea 4:6 says, my people perish for lack of knowledge. You know, if you don't know you're sinning and doing things wrong and you can't figure out why the enemy is just wreaking havoc in your life, he can destroy you. And so we have to deal with these things. And there's a really good book by a friend of mine, Natasha Gerbich, Gerbch, from South Africa. It's called Repentance. And she's just laid it all out. You can go through that book and go through the whole process of forgiveness and repentance. And I guarantee you, you're going to come out, you're going to feel so free afterwards. But going through it, you'll feel like your heart's being cut. You're going through surgery and you're getting tired and you find out you're tired and you have to sleep more. But invite the Lord's healing in that. And the more healed we are, the more pure we are. The enemy can't touch us. He's got nothing in us to manipulate us, to control us. And that's what it means to be free. He can set us free. His truth. If we can find his truth. What is your truth in my life, Lord? Why is he able to do this? Because this thing keeps happening over and over again. I can't ever seem to get the victory. One word from him. Forgive. Maybe we're judging somebody. Maybe we're got bitterness against somebody. Well, that bitterness is sin, and it opens the door for the enemy to come in and wreak havoc in that area of our life. It's not what people do to us, it's, are we forgiving them? Are we releasing them so that the enemy can't come and wreak havoc in our life? Forgiveness is not, they still have to deal with what they did. God holds them accountable. But we can be free from that act, what it did to us, and that it can't control us anymore. You see what the difference is? Anyway, I'm not going to go in more to that. That's all for today, but that's part of what chapter 4 is about. And I hope that in your journey towards your dream, that you'll pursue this and become free so that you can pursue your dream and be all that God's created you to be. So God bless you, and we'll do the next video hopefully next week too. So God bless you. Have a good day. Have a great week, and go for your dreams. Hopefully we'll see you out on the tour. God bless you.